So there is basically two parts of you. There is the one part that's truly you, and then there's the conditioned part of you, otherwise known as the ego or whatever, who you think you are. So when you look in the mirror, you see what you've seen your entire life, basically growing up. You've seen your appearance kind of stay similar. You've seen this is me, 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 this is what I look like, this is how I look when I get dressed up. And you have this image of you, the mirror ingrained in your head, basically. And think back to when you were 2 to 3 years old, because at one time you were 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 and you didn't think. And you were around, think about the people you were around and think about what they would probably be telling you back then. They're here, hey Brandon, don't do that. No, don't do this. No, come here. No, that's right. And as kids can pick up anything, so they're gonna pick that up. And it's such a crucial time of learning that it gets absolutely ingrained inside that kid. So they basically grow up split. They grow up trying to please everyone around them because that's what they think they need to be doing. And then there's a divide between that and who they really are and their truest expression. Because the point of growing up is to basically learn what you want to do and to be limitless and to be free, and when you become as an adult is to be in a position to express yourself to the fullest for the cosmos, to God. And if you never have time to develop as a kid and a child, that development needs to start at some point, and there's going to be some development, but some of that is not going to be good development, and you need to basically untie what has happened in the past. And that's the ego. And the ego are, the thoughts that we've been thinking since we were 10 years old, 11 years old, and we never examined them objectively. And like, well, maybe this belief doesn't serve me right now in this period of time. Because a lot has changed since 1996, 97, and 2016. What you were being taught by your dad in 1996 is going to be different than how you are going to express yourself and learn as a 24-year-old kid in 2016. So you need to be able to step back objectively from your life and basically understand those thoughts that are subconsciously going on inside you and that make you do things without knowing it, and then that make you, it's basically it's what creates addiction, is our covering up of our conditioning, basically, and how we deal with how we were raised to live. And knowing that, this is your journey and every journey starts right now, then you can't, it's not about placing blame on other people. It's not about saying, well, this is their fault and that's their fault for raising me and they raised me wrong and they're terrible and they suck. And that's not a level of awareness opinion. That's more of just still stuck in the same level of here I am, I'm the victim. And when you're able to get to a point of view when you can look back at it and be like, well, that was the best teacher because they incarnated from a higher power, and from that higher power, that higher level, everything's perfect. And they chose this, and I chose this, and I wanted to be this way because this is where I wanted to be. And when you can look back in your life, you'll be able to laugh at moments like this, and you'll be able to appreciate them more. And, it's kind of funny because when you're not who you think you are, you're able to objectively look at what has happened in your life and not get attached to the situations, and be able to acknowledge them and see how that situation has led to my development to this point in life. And, starting from now, it's just like, it's so important to basically tell the difference between what your ego is saying and what you want to be saying. And that's kind of the inner battle that goes on for your subconsciously in a lot of your life, is there's something inside him that thinks that need to be doing something that the truest self of the truer part of me doesn't want to be doing or doesn't think is helpful. But because this conditioning is so powerful and we're creatures of habit, we can't do anything but these habits. And we've been doing them for so long, they're so ingrained inside us that we don't think it's possible to even create new habits. And then it becomes a very helpless situation, and you kind of just spiral into depression, and something's got to awaken basically inside you to say, okay, well, now I'm ready to start building from the bottom. and I'm ready to start building from now, and I'm kind of done with what's happening in the past. And I'm done with being the victim, and I'm done with the suffering, and I'm done feeling like shit, and I just want to take control of my own life. And then that makes you separate from the situations and circumstances that created your life, because you also were in that situation to begin with. So you were one half of the situation, because if you know that you didn't want to be a part of that, then you could have at that time removed yourself from that situation. And you know, but that's neither really here nor there. But it's, the ego is very subtle, and who you think you are, and all your conditioning it's subtle because it's ingrained in you. You know, it's like you don't think about it. You don't think about your deepest, darkest habits, because you've been doing them for so long that you can't face it, because you know you're not strong enough to overcome it, and two, you just don't really, you overlook it. You think that, you know, this isn't my deepest darkest addiction because I do it every day. But you know, that is your deepest darkest addiction, and you're doing that particular activity for a reason. And once you get to a point where you're able to be like, well, I can replace this activity, this addiction with this, then you're able to, you know, rise to another level of understanding, and you're not going to rely on that addiction. And there's, you know, everyone has their addictions, and everyone has the reasons for their addictions, and their addictions could be anything. It's just, you know, addictions is really just getting completely lost in something that you think will get you high. You know, that's basically an addiction. Is you want to feel good. We naturally are born on this earth wanting to feel good and to feel joy, a deep sense of joy. And we want that joy so badly that we will do anything to get us high. We will do anything to put us up. But that's because we weren't given another level of understanding that says it's not what puts you up that is joyful. It's actually it's sitting. It's basically staying neutral to everything. And that's where you find joy, is in sitting quietly. Because the opposite of thinking is not thinking. And when you're not thinking, if you're in thought, then you're in duality. If you're not in thought, then what are you? You're one. You're nothing. You're everything. I mean, you're it, basically. So if I'm thinking all the time and I can't stop my thoughts, then I'm going to be in duality. I'm not going to understand why I do certain things, and I'm going to get high and I'm going to get down. I'm going to get high, I'm going to get down, I'm going to get high, I'm going to get down. And once you switch to basically reaching a deeper level of joy and understanding that joy comes not from up or down, it comes from neutral, then you'll also get high, but a different kind of high, a natural high. Right? Because if drugs or, you know, sex or whatever gets us high, then that's showing us that that's a feeling that we can achieve, basically. But because drugs are impermanent, we go down. We can't stay up. So if we can change our awareness to say that, okay, well, that feeling I'm gonna take and I'm gonna apply that to my daily life, and I'm gonna incorporate that feeling I get from not doing the drugs or whatever it is, then you're able to build on the deeper sense of joy. You know, and because a lot of young men grew up masturbating to, you know, fucking porn all the time. And as a man, our orgasm is one of the biggest things that we own, is our power to orgasm. And when we watch porn, we basically give away that power that's innate in all of us, that says, okay, well, I'm gonna, you know, this is my pleasure, basically. This is my escape, and I'm gonna give away my orgasm to this piece of computer with images on it. And we look superficially at the situation, and we don't look deeper than that and see that love comes from radiance, and love, and our orgasm is a special, powerful tool that we can build up inside us, and then as we release it, we can release love into the world. And no one tells you that when you grow up. So, you know, I think that it's time that people are looking at it like, well, you know, everyone's kind of starting to awaken. Everyone's put on this earth for a reason at the same time. And we're all here because we all want to do good, and we all want to figure out what our good is, and we all want to feel good, and we all want a deep sense of joy. We all want to wake up with a smile on our face. We don't want to walk around with our heads down, and we don't want to be in a job we don't like. And I think people are starting to figure that out, and they're trying to figure out that they were tricked, basically. They weren't tricked, that's just life. Life is a masterful illusion that seems like a trick, and it's confusing and not confusing, and it's basic and complex, and it's everything, because we only exist right now in this universe. We can't create a universe with different rules that say that you can only go up, right? So we need to start from there and say that this is where I am, this is the game I'm playing, and this is how to play it. And the how is the universe. You figure out the what, and the how will come. And that's you have to give away one half of your power, because you can't control everything. That's the law of duality. So you have to give away half of your power to something, right? So you can give away, if you don't give away half of your power, you're going to go crazy trying to control everything. And you have to give that power away to the higher power, to a bigger belief than you. Something in your head that says that I'm not who I am. I give one half of my creation to a higher power. And I'll create the what, this is what I want, and then I'm going to trust the other half of me to bring in the how. That's the one half of me that I can't see. And when you're able to trust that, and you're able to relax and watch what happens in front of you, you're not trying to worry about where to go to next. And when we make that shift, everything becomes great. I mean, it's still challenges in life, but it's still fear. It's amazing. I mean, it's the pinnacle of the universe. There's no other universes that we know that are better than this. The joy is here. It's in this room. The joy is all around you. The joy is the connection with the other half of you that's bigger. And when you connect to that, you get these awesome feelings and these insights, and you're not making a victim in the world, because it's just your responsibility to connect to the other half of you. That is your responsibility. I mean, that's your purpose. And when you feed that connection loops back to you. You feel joyful and amazing. And you can't blame anyone else for the connection you have to your higher power. And I mean, the way you connect to the higher power is basically, there's obviously different steps in the journey. You can't life is long and it's not overnight, right? We didn't become enlightened from 20 to 21 to 22. It's a journey, and you can't blink an eye at 40 and be like, oh, well, this is where I want it to be, and I missed the last 20 years because I'm trying to get here. So if you know it's okay to struggle along and to not feel amazing all the time, and some of the times you feel really well and you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, you know that's where it starts. That's where everything starts. If there's anything we know about this earth, it's that everything starts like a seed, a tiny seed, and it grows. And if you never start that seed, then it's never going to grow, and you're just going to be growing weeds basically out of your life. And a lot of times it sucks to be like, damn, now I need to start, you know what I mean? Now I need to redo my life. It's not even, you're just transforming. It's not even a redo. And when you transform your life, you're going to feel amazing. And that's what you wanted. What else would you want? So think about that for a few seconds and let that soak in.